guys, how are you? We're going to talk about canvases again. I know we talked about this the other day, and I accidentally deleted the replay. Sorry. Hi, how are you guys? I'll try not to do that this time, and I'll try to do a better job explaining canvases also this time. We'll see if I do. Anyways, so yeah, sorry about that. That was my first time periscoping, so I wasn't quite sure how to set it up to record the replay so I can put on YouTube. So I think I got it figured out now. Okay, so let's talk about canvases again. But this time I just want to talk about canvases because I feel like I went into too many different types of print and it might have been confusing for people. So we're just going to talk about gallery wraps versus a traditional canvas bonded, a traditional print bonded to canvas, okay? Really quick, if you have other photographers that follow you that you think may be interested in this, go ahead and share this so that they can see this as well. And give me little hearts if I'm saying something that resonates with you, okay? So I know if I'm on the right track or not. Hi, Anna. Okay, so basically there are two different types of canvases. There is a gallery wrap canvas, and there is what I call a traditional canvas, which is basically a photographic print that's bonded to canvas. So let's start talking about the gallery wrap. Because that's the one that I think confuses a lot of people. Okay, this is a gallery wrap canvas. What it means is that the canvas wraps all the way around the stretcher frame or block, whatever it is your lab is mounting this on. And it comes with the hanging hardware already on it, so either the sawtooth hanger or a wire, and your client hangs it on the wall as is. There's no need to put it in a frame. How this is made is this image is printed directly on the canvas. So the canvas goes through the inkjet printer prints the image directly on the canvas, and then it is wrapped around the edge of the frame, so you see the image on the sides of the canvas, and then it's finished off on the back, and then you hang it, and that's it. You can have it gel coated. Different labs will give you different options. Just for reference, I use Miller's, and they do a gel coat on these. Okay, so that's a gallery wrap. So a lot of people get confused on what a traditional canvas is. So I want to explain that. That is a completely different printing process. It is a photographic print that is bonded to a canvas. So what they do, what the lab does, is they print a traditional print, and then they use heat and pressure to bond it into the canvas. And then it's usually coated with the luster coating or whatever it is that you're choosing to do. I usually do the luster coating. Actually, I always do the luster coating. But it doesn't wrap the picture, the image doesn't wrap all the way around the frame. And the reason is because even though the canvas is flexible, the print is not. So if they wrapped it all the way around, the emulsion would crack. Years and years ago, Miller's and a lot of labs used to strip the emulsion off the back of the print and then apply it to the canvas, but nowadays most of them don't. And there are specialty places that do things differently, but Miller's does not strip the emulsion off. They just bond it to the canvas as it is. So you're not going to get a traditional print on canvas that wraps all the way around the edge, if that makes sense. Okay, but it's okay because this is meant to actually go in a frame, whereas the gallery wrap is not meant to go in a frame. This just hangs on the wall as it is. It's done. Okay, but a traditional canvas does get a frame. So the edges will be covered up once it's framed, like this. This is just a sample frame corner to kind of show you how it works. Okay, so the print sits inside the frame like that, so you don't see the edges. All right, now every lab gives you different options as far as how you want it mounted. This is on stretcher frame, okay? But you can have it on double weight mat board, you can have it on gator form, you could have it on masonite. You've got lots of different options. I actually do mine on masonite, like this. Okay, so this is a traditional print, bonded to canvas, and then mounted on masonite. See that? I hope you can see that. The reason I opt for this instead of, I think it's a lot easier, the stretcher. I'll give you a couple of reasons why I like this versus the stretcher frame. Two pretty good reasons, I think. Number one, a canvas on a stretcher frame can loosen up over time or with humidity changes. So if your client has their canvas hanging in one room and they move it to another room, the humidity or changes in the temperature can cause it to start to wave and to loosen up. And then it needs to be restretched and tightened, which isn't a big deal. I mean, it happens. It's not because it's a defective product. It's just the nature of the product. But I don't want a client to call me years and years down the road and say, hey, my canvas looks all wonky now, and them feel like it was something that I did. And then I don't want to have to go over there and take it off the wall, take it out of the frame, restretch it, and bring it back to them. This is maintenance free. Okay, so once it's put on the masonite, it's not going to loosen up. It's a maintenance free product. What's the difference between mounted and bonded? Okay, so bonded means the print is pressed into the canvas. But then you just have a loose canvas with the print on it, right? So you have to mount it onto something to make it rigid. So you can either mount it on a stretcher frame, wrapped it around the stretcher frame, staple it on, or you can have it mounted to masonite or to gator form, or different labs have different options for mounting, okay? So bonding is the process of putting the print on the canvas. So there's basically four different steps. First one is you have your print made. Next one is you have it bonded onto the canvas. Then you have it mounted onto whatever rigid surface is going to keep it nice and flat and ready to frame. And then you can have it coated. So like I just do a luster coating on mine, okay? So anyways, the canvas loosening up is one reason why I prefer masonite over stretcher frame. The other reason is for framing. Why bond it to canvas at all? It's an actual print attached on top of the canvas. That's what it is. It's pressed in. They call it bonding to the canvas. So they're using heat and pressure to press it into the canvas so that it takes on the texture of the canvas. See, you can see the texture. That's because of the heat and the pressure that is bonding the two together, the two surfaces together. Okay. So the other reason that I like to have it mounted on the masonite instead of the stretcher frame is for ease of framing. Sometimes, now I do framing, I work with a local framer, and so I offer it to my clients, and I have all of the frame corners and everything here. But sometimes my client will pick a frame. Oh, someone's at the door. We'll just let it go. Sometimes my clients will pick a frame that isn't very deep, if you can see that. So when framing a canvas that is deep, it's not going to sit flat against the wall. It's going to stand out from the wall a little bit, which is fine in a lot of cases, but sometimes if they're putting something on a wall that they're going to be walking around the corner and passing, and the frame isn't going to sit flat against the wall, it might bug them. It would bug me. So with masonite, I never have to worry what frame they're going to pick because it's going to sit deep in there anyways, okay? And the framer is going to use flex points that he's going to nail into here to hold it nice and tight, okay? So it's a maintenance-free product. It's not going to get all wonky and wavy over time, and it is easy to frame, okay? So that's why I like that over the stretcher frame. But I think the main thing that confuses people is sometimes they order this thinking that they're getting this. Does the quality of the bonded canvas last better than printing straight on canvas? Depends on what you ask the labs. This is not a new process. This is how canvases have always been done. The gallery wrap printing directly on is relatively new as far as like in the last like, I don't know, 10 years or so. It started becoming popular. So ask the labs because they'll give you different answers depending on who you ask. The other thing that I like about this is because it's a photographic print versus printed directly on the canvas, if you compare the two side by side, this is always going to be so much richer and deeper, and it's just, I think, just a superior product. Have a couple printed in different ways and see how you like them, what you prefer. But I like the printing of a traditional print press into canvas a lot more. Okay. I was going to tell you something. Hi, how are you? Is it raining up there in Petaluma? It's not over here. Anyways, I was going to tell you something about, lost my train of thought. So a lot of people order this thinking they're getting the gallery wrap, and then they get all confused when they receive this, and they say, something's wrong, it's stapled on the side, it's not supposed to look like this. So I wanted to make this video to explain to you why you're getting that. It's a totally different product. Every lab has a different setup as far as ordering goes. So if you're ordering from Miller's, which is where I order from, their gallery wraps and their fine art canvases are all listed under their wall art category. And by the way, their fine art canvases are printed the same way. It's printed directly on canvas, but it will not wrap around the edges. It will come to you like this to make it even more confusing. But at Miller's, if you're going to order a print bonded to canvas like this, what you're going to need to do is order a basic print. So you go into the print category, order your print, and then for the options, you're going to opt to have it mounted on canvas, bonded to canvas and mounted. Okay? Let me make it a little bit more confusing too. Miller's offers two different types of canvases for this product. They offer a 10-ounce canvas and a 7-ounce canvas. This is the 10-ounce. I always order the 10-ounce. The 7-ounce is a lighter weave, and it's more like a linen texture. It's a really light texture, but this is the 10-ounce. Let me show it again so you can see the texture on it. It's a really, really nice texture. It's really gorgeous. When light comes across it in the room, it's just really, really beautiful. Okay, so I use Miller's Remote Suite, not the Rose program, so I choose my size, and then in the next category, when you can choose your surface modifications, I choose canvas on masonite, and then another little box pops out that says, do you want 10 ounce or 7 ounce, and I choose 10 ounce. And then in the next tab over, I choose luster coating, and there it's done, okay? So that's about it. I think I covered it. Do you have any questions on this, or do you want to see anything a little bit better up close? Let me know if there's anything else that I can answer for you real quick here. Why do you not choose 7? Because it's really light. It's more like a linen texture, and I like a thick texture on the canvas. Years ago, Miller's had another canvas, and also I used Bay Photo for several years, and they had a really thick canvas, and I really liked it. Well, Bay had a really thick canvas. I really liked it. When I switched to Miller's, they also had a really thick canvas that I liked. And then Miller's changed their canvases, and they went to the 10 ounce and the 7 ounce. And I defaulted to the 10 because I wanted it nice and thick like their original one was. And at the time, the 10 ounce, compared to what they originally had, still wasn't as thick. And I remember being really upset about that. But I don't have any in the house now that are from that original texture, so now I can't even remember what it looked like. But I know at the time that it really upset me, and I thought that this was a really light texture compared to what they used to have. But now, you know, it's been years, and I love it. I love it now because I don't have the old one to compare it to. But the 7 ounce is a really thin weave. They will send you samples of all of their different, so the canvas machine always has to be framed, right? Yes, yes. These are meant to be framed. Anyways, they'll send you samples of all of their different canvases with different coatings and things like that if you call them up and tell them you want a sample kit, so then you can kind of check it out. Yes, these get framed. That's the main difference is a gallery wrap, you're not going to frame. A traditional print, however you want it mounted, masonite, stretcher frame, gator form, whatever it is that you want, you are going to frame that. It's not meant to hang on the wall like this. I don't even know how you could hang it on the wall like this. So it does need to be framed. Glass or no glass? No glass. Okay, a canvas is supposed to take on a painterly feel, and you want to put a painting behind glass. So that's the whole idea of a canvas. Okay. Hi. So you want it to feel like a painting. So you would never put glass on top of it. Okay. Any other questions? You're welcome. I know that it's confusing, and different labs have different terminology, and everybody calls these different things, so it can be really confusing. For a more modern house, would you suggest a gallery wrap or not? You know, I think this really comes down to knowing your demographic and offering products that resonate with your clients. For my clients, the traditional portrait is what they want. I did offer wraps for a few years. Originally, I'd always just offer traditional. That's all there was. And then when the gallery wraps came around, I did offer that for a few years. And I didn't really sell a lot of them. I didn't love them, and my clients weren't crazy about it. To my clients, they looked cheap, especially when in the studio I had traditional canvases framed in beautiful frames, and then I had these gallery wraps that had less luster, weren't framed, they looked unfinished really. And so clients would see the two, and I would talk about the differences between them, and they would always go with the traditional. And so after a few years, I said, you know what, I don't even know why I'm offering these. It's one more choice for the client to make, and we really want to eliminate that. We want to keep it easy for them to purchase from us, and the more options you give them that they aren't going to go for anyways, the more it's going to confuse them and delay the process. So I finally just did away with them altogether. Plus, at that time when I did away with them, they were starting to become readily available everywhere. People can get them at Costco, and now they're on Groupon all the time. And even when you walk into a store like like a Home Goods or something like that, gallery wrap manufactured art is in all the bins. So this, in a nice frame, feels a lot more rich, high end. And I think that for the clients that I work with, this is what they're used to getting. This is what they want. If they have a lot of art in their homes, it's all framed, and they're going to mix in your portraits with their paintings and things like that, a framed portrait is going to blend much more with their surroundings in their home than a gallery wrap is. But again, it's about knowing your clientele. So, if your clientele gravitates towards the more modern look, and they like that frameless portrait look, then go for that. But what I would suggest for one studio might not necessarily be what I would suggest for another. So you really do just have to know your clients, and base what you're offering on that, if that makes sense. Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I did this. Do you give a client the rough idea of the cost of framing that they should look for? Yeah, I give them a rough idea. All frames are different, so there's lots of different price points in there. But I kind of give them a rough idea, and they'll see ones in my studio when they're at their sales appointment that they may say, oh, I really like that frame. And I say, okay, well, when your order comes in, we'll go over frames. You'll come back to pick up your order, and I'll have some frames picked out for you that I think may work for you, some frame corner samples, and we'll choose something that, I just want to say, oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And then we'll go through the frames, and we'll figure out if there's something that I have that you like, and if so, I'm happy to take care of the framing for you. I'll get you a quote at that time, because they're all different price points. But you can, if that's the type of frame that you like, you can plan on it costing around blah 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 blah, and I'll just give them a ballpark. What do you recommend for someone that does not have a studio? As far as what product to offer, do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, I didn't even do an introduction when I started this. I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gretchen Adams. I'm a portrait photographer here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've been in business since 1999. I specialize in families and children, but I do some other little niches as well. But that's my bread and butter is family and children. My business name is Gretchen Adams Photography. But I also teach within the industry, so I have online courses and things like that I offer. My most popular is my IPS course, which teaches photographers how to sell via in-person sales appointments. And so if you're interested in finding out about any of that stuff, you can look at our website, which is theboutiqueportraitstudio.com, and you can find information there on stuff. And if you sign up for our newsletter, I'll let you know when we've got specials going on, send resources out to you and things like that. I'm sorry, what was that last question? I missed it. Don't mind, type it again. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk and read at the same time. Oh, good. I'm glad that you like it. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. And I will get this over on YouTube, and I'll put it on the YouTube channel. Pretty much everything is, you're welcome. Oh, about the frame quote, no studio question. Oh, how would I quote them, frames? Well, okay, so let's go back. So if I didn't have a studio and I was going to people's homes, what I would do when I came back over to their home with their finished work is I would bring frame corner samples with me at that time. You know, things like this, things that I thought worked with their portrait. I would bring that over to their home, and we would take the portrait and set it wherever they think it's going to be. If it's going to be on the mantle, you know, and I have done this before because there are some clients that I go to instead of them come to me. Set it on their mantle. We'd hold up different frame corners, have them step back, look at it, see what it is that they like. My system with my framer is that my clients pick the moldings that they like, and then I either call or email him the next day to get a quote on it, and then I contact the client again and say, okay, this is the quote from the framer, yay or nay. They always say, yeah, go for it, and I get it framed, and we take care of it that way. I'll do another Periscope just on how I handle the framing, because I know that a lot of people get hung up on that. Yeah, I'll do the presentation boxes too, absolutely. But I know a lot of people get hung up on the framing because there's a million different ways to handle the framing aspect, but if you're not offering framing to your clients, you're leaving money on the table and you're not finishing the job, okay? They will take your pieces somewhere to get framed, so you might as well provide that service so that you're a full service studio, and no one's going to have a better opinion about how your work should be framed than you. So you might as well be involved in that step of the process, and it's providing another service for your client, so it's, elevating your studio. Do you sign the canvas? Yes. But there's lots of different setups that you can arrange with framers or whatnot. Exactly. If you don't frame it, it's going to sit in the bag you gave it to them in 4 years because everybody's busy. You know, if you don't take care of it for them, it's not going to get taken care of. You know, it's one of those things like, you know, it gets put on the back burner. It's hard enough to get busy families to get together and do a family portrait session, but then if they have to actually go out and pick frames and get this stuff taken care of, forget about it. So you might as well do it for them. And like I said, it's extra income. You know, framing is expensive. Do you want a framer to make a lot of money off of your work, or would you rather increase your sale by making the money off of your frame? Do I sign it? Yes, I sign it. Where do you sign? Can you show us? This is just a studio sample, so this one's not signed. Oh, this one is. Can you see that? I think it's backwards. So, on the lower right side, I sign it. Okay? With an artist pen. Very easy. If y'all know the tip on how to get a signature off of a print if you mess it up, I'll scope that because that's really cool. I am one who screws up my signature all the time. And so I've got a little trick for you that I'll show you how to remove that signature if you mess it up and need to re-sign it. Okay, because sometimes people say, I don't want to sign it because I'm afraid if I screw it up. You can remove it. What kind of pen do you use? Just an artist pen, a gold artist pen. What else? That's about it, I guess. You know, again, if you want to reach out with any questions, Gretchen at the Boutique Portrait Studio. Yeah, right. And so I did it one time years ago. Thank you. One time on a canvas, I messed it up, and then I wasn't sure how to remove it. What if I have an awful partnership? Do you recommend a penmanship? Do you recommend using a stamp in Photoshop? No, don't do that. Is your penmanship that bad? I mean, it's just a signature. Now, if you do a stamp in Photoshop, it looks very manufactured, I think. But again, I don't know your studio, I don't know your brand, but you know, if you want it, if you want to be perceived as an artist, hand sign your work. Okay. Um, it just, I mean, there have been a few times that I've forgotten, and clients have called me later and said, "You didn't sign this," and I've had to drive back to their house and sign it. They want it signed. Okay. They really do, even if your penmanship sucks. Okay. Anyways, I guess that's about it. Any questions, you can email me, Gretchen at theboutiqueportraitstudio.com. If you want to follow us on here, I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to try and periscope 5 times a week. We'll see if I actually do it or not, but I've committed myself to that. Maybe you guys can hold me accountable for it. We'll see if I can do it just for the next couple weeks, and I'll see how it goes. Would I sign a print? If it's a print and it's going to be matted, I prefer to sign the matte in the corner in a pencil. Do you recommend signing the sample so clients aren't surprised when you do? Oh yeah. Stuff that's hanging in my studio is all signed. You know, this one just isn't a sign because it's not going anywhere. That was a boo-boo. Sometimes I make a boo-boo and it becomes mine. That's another reason I like the Masonite. One more quick reason. Sometimes I screw up on something. You know, I forgot to edit something out, or you know, something happened, and I'm gonna keep that one and make a new one for the client. And if they're on Masonite, I can stack them in my drawers a lot easier than I can a stretcher frame. Okay, because I do make boo-boos and you know go, okay, well that one's for me. So it's easier to store if they're on Masonite. As far as signing goes, hold on. If it is a matted print, I sign in the corner of the mat. Okay, with pencil, really easy. All right. Unless you got any last minute questions, I think that's about it. Happy Monday, everyone. And I hope that it's not too terrible weather wherever you're at. All right, have a great one.